I just wanted to come on here and give you guys a bit of a life update. The last video I just posted on this channel was the labor and delivery vlog, and that video was like a 4-minute long video, and my labor and delivery I think was like almost 15 hours, I want to say. So I didn't, record too much. I mean, it's kind of hard to, especially like, with wearing the hijab and stuff, and labor is anything but like modest, so it's kind of hard to vlog that, but I tried my best to kind of try and update you guys, but I didn't really do too good of a job at it. I still thought I would upload that video to kind of let you guys know what happened. At that time I felt like uploading that video was easier than talking about it, but alhamdulillah, my days have kind of just been filled with ups and downs, if I'm being honest. Some days I feel a lot better and some days I just feel a lot worse, but I just try to let myself feel any emotions I'm feeling and to not suppress any emotions. Like if I'm feeling sad, I will let myself feel sad. If I'm feeling happy, I'll let myself feel happy. But overall, alhamdulillah, I have been doing well. Just wanted to let you guys know. And I also wanted to thank you guys for all your support and your kind comments and your kind DMs. I know I have not responded to everyone, and it is really hard for me to respond to everyone because there's just so many of you guys that have messaged me, and I'm so grateful for that. I did not expect that many of you guys to reach out, and for those of you guys that have shared with me your stories, I really appreciate it, and it's nice to get to connect with you guys. Yeah, I also just wanted to kind of let you guys know a little bit more about what happened, because I know some of you guys were confused. Honestly, I'm still kind of confused because it was such a shock, because my whole pregnancy, like alhamdulillah, my pregnancy went by fairly smoothly and easily. I would say the hardest part of my pregnancy was definitely my first trimester. Compared to the 3 trimesters, I just hate the feeling of feeling nauseous, so I think that's why I really just didn't like the first trimester, because I remember feeling nauseous like 24/7. Every like ultrasound, blood test, even like what test was that? The gestational diabetes test, or the glucose test they do to test if you have gestational diabetes. Like, I had none of those things. The only thing I had in my pregnancy was I had mild anemia, which I was taking an iron supplement like once a week because of that. But overall, like, my OBGYN thought everything was going good and that my pregnancy, was low risk and, nothing was wrong. Even like my whole labor and delivery, like from the bits you guys saw that I vlogged, like there was no complications, really. Like, I mean, of course it's still like labor and everyone's labor is so different. So for me, like, I did get the epidural. They did put me on Pitocin eventually because I wasn't really dilating fast enough. I don't know if I mentioned that in the video. I think I did. In the labor and delivery vlog, I let you guys know those things. But once I like started pushing and stuff, baby came out normally. He had like a loud cry. I kind of cut out a bit of his cry in the video because I started crying with him. When they put him on my chest, I like lost it. I started crying too, and you could hear that, so I cut that part out because I am an ugly crier, so we don't have to hear that. So I was too embarrassed to put that part in. I don't know why, I just, hearing myself cry, I couldn't do it. But his cry was literally like the cutest thing ever. It didn't even bother me. But like I told you guys in the video, like, he was on my chest for around like 2 minutes before they cut the umbilical cord. I didn't realize it had been that long, but when I saw the footage, I realized that, like, he was with me for a little bit longer than I thought. It felt like 30-40 seconds thinking back at it, but I did have him for like 2 minutes on my chest, and then Breathe cut his umbilical cord, and then that's when he turned blue. And then the nurse kind of like, she didn't make it sound alarming at all, but she was like, I'm gonna take him, he's looking a little blue. So she took him in the same room as us, like he was just in the corner. They were just trying to figure out what's wrong with him, and I think they ended up putting an oxygen mask on him because they just realized he wasn't getting enough oxygen. He was still in the room with me. He was in that room next to me for like 3 hours, and they were just trying to figure out what was wrong with him. And all these other doctors and nurses came in, and there were so many of them. I remember all just in that corner of the room trying to figure out what was wrong with him. And then eventually they decided to transfer him over to a better hospital to get better care, but that took a while as well. Like I was saying, he was in the room next to me, so they were telling me, like, if it was really serious, we would not be in the same room as you with him. working on him, and in my head I don't know, I knew something was wrong because I like knew this wasn't normal, and I was honestly thinking the worst in that moment. I just knew, like, I don't know, I had this gut feeling that like something was like terribly wrong. I didn't know what to think, if I'm being honest. I definitely was just like, what is going on? Like, is this really happening? It just felt like a dream looking back at it, but you know, he did get transferred over. He went with Fareed, and my dad and a family friend went as well, but unfortunately the hospital at that time said that only like the dad and mom could stay with the baby. I was in no condition to go to the hospital with Fareed an hour away. I remember getting up to go to the bathroom and I almost passed out. I have never in my life felt like that feeling of like, oh, I'm about to pass out. Like, I remember getting up and my ears were ringing and the whole room went dizzy. I didn't pass out, but I've never felt like that before in my life. So I was very, very weak after giving birth, and I also think it was like the stress of everything that was happening. And I hadn't eaten anything really that day because I wasn't really allowed to once I had gotten that epidural, and I wasn't hungry before that. Like, I had no appetite because I was in pain. Like, I'm getting contractions, I'm not gonna feel like eating anything, so I hadn't eaten like anything that whole day, like for 14 hours. All I had was water. Of course they like do put you on the IVs and stuff, so I guess I don't know, I was just pretty weak. I remember like I FaceTimed Fareed a few times, and I remember when I FaceTimed Fareed, you know, he was sitting right next to the baby. The baby had like stabilized by then, and Fareed was just with the baby, and I remember like I was like talking on the FaceTime call, and Fareed had the camera pointed at him, and he like opened his eyes and he looked over, and it was the cutest thing. I don't know, to me I was just like, oh, he recognized my voice. Like, you know, he opened his eyes and he was looking. I'm really grateful for that memory that I have of him. And for anyone wondering what he looked like, he looked literally just like Fareed and my dad kind of too, like a mix of Fareed and my dad. He didn't really look like me, which I knew was going to happen. I was like, he's not gonna come out looking like me, he's literally going to be a mini Fareed, and he was. I know he was when you were born, and they change so much as they grow, and like, you know, they grow into their futures. But I don't know, maybe it was just because he was like my baby, but to me it didn't look like a typical newborn. While I was pregnant, I remember just thinking like, all newborns like look the same, but I don't know, he didn't look the same to me. But you know, maybe because it was my baby. But I am really grateful that I did get to you know, have him for a little bit, and that's just what was written. You know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best, and anything I could have done, or the doctors or anything like that, like his time was written, and nothing would have changed anything. He would have gone one way or the other. That's just how I view it. Like, you know, when someone's time is up, their time is up. There's nothing you can do. You know, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decides that it's our time to go back to him, it's our time. We might not understand why, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best, and you know, one day it'll all make sense, inshallah. But you know, at the end of the day, there is still so much to be grateful for. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us all immensely, and I hope that you know, what happened with me could be a reminder for all of you guys as well, to like how short this life really is, and how none of us know when it's our time to go, and you know, we should all just try our best, inshallah, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows our efforts. We don't know what's written for us. For Zarar, it was just written for him to, you know, come into this world for one day and then go back, and for us, you know, we're still here, so alhamdulillah, and we should all just try our best to do what we can do to please our creator. It's just such a wake-up call when things like this happen to you. I hope I was making sense. I just wanted to like give you guys some sort of an update and kind of try to explain better of what happened, but I guess, you know, what was meant to happen, and I kind of wanted to try to explain it better for anyone who's confused on what happened and didn't really get it from that video. But I feel like if anything, I probably confused you guys more. Oh wait, okay, wait, did I talk about this? I don't know if I'm repeating myself, but I don't think I talked about this part, but he did end up passing in the morning, and they don't know like his cause of death, like what exactly happened. So the thing I mentioned in the other video was that the doctors thought he had position of the great arteries, which is a guess. They're not 100% sure that's what he had. They weren't able to like run the tests and do the things they needed to do, and they asked us if we wanted an autopsy, but we denied that. You know, didn't want that to be done to him. So yeah, we don't really know his exact cause of death. That was just one of the guesses. And you know, the doctors were guessing a lot of things throughout, but those were different doctors, and these were different doctors at this hospital. But both of the doctors had guessed the dextrotransposition of the great arteries. I think that was like their final guess of what they think happened, but they don't know 100%, like I said. But ultimately, like, he passed away because he wasn't getting enough oxygen, but the condition, not really sure, I guess. But yeah, I hope you guys are all doing well, and once again, I just want to say thank you to all of you guys for keeping me in your duas. See you guys in my next video, inshallah. Bye.